What's going on, everyone? Team USA played their first game against Puerto Rico, and they won. They won in a dominant fashion, winning 117-74. They looked a little sloppy in the first half, a little rough, a lot of questions of is this what we can expect going forward? And then they just kind of flipped this switch in the second half and really dominated and went and started on a 20-0 run, and then that kind of just gave the separation they needed to kind of just coast the rest of the way. And they were just too fast, too talented for Puerto Rico to deal with. But there are some of those concerns of they play that way that they did in the first half against some of these better teams, then they could probably lose. But hopefully the U.S. handles business and they win all their games. They have some real challenges coming up. Luka is one of the opponents that is right around the corner. They play him on Saturday and then they end up playing Greece. So definitely will be interesting to see how this plays out. But, of course, it's a Laker channel, and we're going to talk about Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves had a really good outing, really strong. Defensively, he was a monster, man. He was everywhere defensively, really just shined on that end and his ability to make plays and just kind of create. You saw a lot of that. The stat line won't stand out heavily, but no one really did. It was a really well-balanced attack. The two leading scorers only had 15 points. So Austin Reaves having 9 points isn't like, oh man, he didn't have that. No, he had a very good game. If you actually watch the game, he had a very good game. Now, he didn't make a field goal in the second half. He scored all 9 of his points in the first half and was the leading scorer in the first half. LeBron James even shouted him out, talked about how much he was balling. But he really was off to a hot start and really kind of kept them within striking range and just maintaining that lead. He was a big part of that. And as soon as he came in, his first shot he made was a three-pointer in the corner, and then just kind of continued from there. Finished the first half with 9 points, and then had a couple really nice looks in the second half, but they just didn't fall for him. I expect him to be better going forward. But he still shot 50% from the field. So it wasn't like, he was 4 of 20 or something like that. No, he only took 8 shots. He was 4 of 8, got 4 rebounds, 4 assists. But again, really getting after it, really hustling. You saw just the promise for Austin Reaves, right? Especially on the defensive end. Now, granted, he's not playing these elite level offensive players, but Puerto Rico had a couple really good scorers. And, Waters is a guy that he won G League Rookie of the Year a couple years ago and was like a 20-plus point a game scorer in that. So he was sitting there trying to guard him, chasing him around. But also, you've seen him really get after it. If you've seen some of the highlights and just the scrimmages with Team USA, he's just locking dudes up. I mean, there's a sequence in the practice where he's guarding Anthony Edwards and is just putting the work on Edwards. And Edwards is quick, he's elite, and Reaves is staying in front of him, moving his feet, staying strong, not getting bumped off his spots. It was really good to see that. And then to actually see it in gameplay, see that translate in the same thing, it really bodes well for the Lakers, right? Austin Reaves is going to be a huge component for this Laker roster this season. I think he may end up being the most significant, especially over the course of the regular season, because I think, LeBron James is going to kind of coast, right? I really do. I think he just kind of picks and chooses his spots. And I think the Lakers really heavily lean on Austin Reaves. We've heard all the talk of all the players just speaking so highly of Reaves. Steve Kerr seems enamored by him, and every opportunity he's had, he sat there and talked about him. And he's really it's kind of funny. He's he's probably the 6th, 7th best player on Team USA, but he's being treated like he is the superstar. It's kind of funny. He's like this rock star with Team USA. And then even after the game, right? He wasn't even their best player for that game. And he still was the guy that got the interview, got the screen time, that they just talked about LeBron James mentioning him and stuff. And it's kind of funny. And you just see the Laker effect, right? If Austin Reaves was on let's say he was on Detroit, and let's say he was the same player, right? And he really had these standouts. Do you really think he'd be this sort of rock star right now with Team USA and getting all these headlines, and on top of that, getting all these interviews and stuff like that? Probably not, right? Like, even like some of the headlines for the game were like, Austin Reaves is, he chipped in 9 points. And look, again, he was really good. It wasn't like he was out there just stinking up the joint and was just a bum or anything like that. No, he was very good on both sides of the ball. He was able to play make. He had some nice just moves to create separation. It was really a display on Austin Reaves. And I'm excited to see that all translate into this upcoming season, right? Because again, I really do believe he's going to be maybe the most important piece, not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because he is a guy that can play multiple positions. If his defense can improve and get better, and he can actually be like a lockdown defender, right? I mean, in today's NBA, you're never going to get like that elite, just complete shutdown. Guys are too good, right? Guys score the basketball, especially if he's guarding like a star level player. You're never going to just completely shut him down, but just make things difficult, right? Make them have to work. Make things hard and challenging on them, right? Get their field goal percentage to drop, right? Like, that's what we'd love to see from Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves last year was a good, not great defender, right? Like, he was slightly above league average, but he had his moments and stuff, and that'll improve, right? As he continues to grow and bulk up and just learn how to properly move his feet better, how to properly find angles better, and knowing, the person in front of you that has the ball, right? You learn that over time. He's got the IQ, he's got the smarts, he's got all the tools and intangibles to be a solid defensive player. Again, we don't need him to be prime Ron Artest or like a Tony Allen or something like that. Just be one of the better quality defensive fronts, right? Be a guy that within the scope of the team defense can hold his own and really kind of help the Lakers have a number one defense. I really do believe the Lakers are going to have the best defense in the league this year. And I think Austin Reaves will be a big part of that. Now, obviously, Anthony Davis, he's the anchor. Jared Vanderbilt, he's the guy as far as like guarding the superstar players on the other team and stuff. But I do think Austin Reaves, one, will get a lot of experience on the defensive end because he's guarding, even in practices and scrimmages, is guarding literally other teams' best players on a day-to-day basis, right? They're practicing, they're scrimmaging every day. They got 6 weeks together, and Austin Reaves is getting after it. Again, there's video evidence, there's video proof of him getting after it. So I fully expect him to come in for the Lakers this year with that just kind of continued breakout, right? Because he already kind of broke out last year. And can he get better? Absolutely, right? Like, this is a guy that I really do believe can be a 25-5 guy, right? Which, I've had people throw out like, oh, like you're talking about Hall of Fame numbers, but you got to put that stuff in perspective, right? Even if he's 25-5, right? Like, there are guys like Tyreek Evans averaged that his rookie year, right? Like Gordon Hayward was a 25-5 guy, right? Like, there are plenty of guys that haven't been superstars or Hall of Famers that average 25-5. It's not that uncommon, and especially in today's NBA. There was something like 37 players that averaged 20 or more points this year, right? And that list gets longer if you add players that were just under 13 or under 20, right? Like guys that scored like 19 and a half or 19 points. That list is like 40 players long, right? So we're just in a different NBA where scoring it's more prominent. Defenses aren't as good. The rules are just different, right? You can't get away with a lot of stuff that you could get away with in the past, and they're really trying to eliminate even some of the other like kind of tic-tac things, like flop and stuff like that. So it's going to be a more fast-paced, finding your way to score. And Austin Reaves was a 13-3-3 guy last year, right? And that was even like before the big breakout. So to think that if he has a more prominent role, he is a real fixture on this Lakers roster and actually gets the attempts, that he can't score 7 more points a game and dish out 2 more assists with 2 more rebounds, right? Even if the rebounds don't go up, right? And he still could be a 23-5 guy. Like, that's still really good. I don't think Austin Reaves will be an all-star just because there's just so many guards in the Western Conference that he would be going up against. At least anytime soon. Maybe, we'll see what happens in the coming years. I don't want to say Austin Reaves will never actually be an all-star, but I just think it'll be really hard for him. Now, look, he does have Laker Nation backing him, right? And we've seen guys like Alex Caruso in, 2020, almost made the all-star. But granted, there's kind of more bigger name guards and stuff like that now, and guys have really emerged more. But again, that doesn't mean that he can't be all-star level. Right? Like, even if he doesn't actually get the nod, every year there's a handful in the West and the East of guys that were all-star level that got snubbed, right? There's all snub teams and stuff like that, right? The guys get highlighted. And could Austin Reaves be a guy that, 2 guards or can't play because of injury or something like that, and Reaves gets the nod? Absolutely, I could see that happening, right? Like, even if he doesn't get the accolade, it doesn't mean he can't be that level, right? And be a legit 2-way playmaking type guard. The Lakers want to kind of use him and utilize him as a point guard more. I could definitely see that happening. He's doing it for Team USA, right? Handling the ball, making plays for others, all that. So I don't think it's that far-fetched that Austin Reaves maybe is our point guard of the future, especially if Max Christie in the next 3 years ends up becoming our starting shooting guard. It would make sense to just shift Reaves to the point. You have Reaves at the 1, Christie at the 2, Vando at the 3, Rui at the 4, and AD at the 5, assuming, that nothing crazy happens, right? Lakers don't get another superstar or something like that, especially after LeBron leaves. Time will tell. But I think Austin Reaves, he's the glue guy, right? He's the guy that you need to win a championship, right? He's the guy that does all the hard work, that does the dirty work, that does even the stuff that doesn't go noticed, that doesn't show up on the box score. And he's doing that with Team USA. He's always making the right play. He's always making the right read. He's always doing the right thing. And that's really important for a team and their success. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think of Reaves? Did you watch him? Did you watch him play? Did you watch the game? If not, the next game is Saturday, I believe. But yeah, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it.